Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Beckham. I'm the College and Career Counselor here at Conroe High School. I wanted to share with you today some information that your student is learning through their English class. And the information I share with you will help your student and you throughout their senior year. I hope you find this information helpful. I'm going to share my screen here to go through a presentation with you. This will help answer many of the questions that you might have going into the senior year. So first off, I want to start by letting you know that there has been an alphabet change with the counselors. Some of the counselors have seniors that are new to them. So it is very important for your student to know who your counselor is, because their current counselor will be the one to write letters of recommendation for your student if they need one. It's also important for you to know who your student's counselor is going into their senior year. So how can you contact your student's counselor? The best form of communication for communicating with counselors will be through email. They're able to check their email throughout the day. When they may be on a phone call on hold, they can check their email and get right back to you. Or when they're on lunch duty, they can check their email that way. So they have access to their email at all times when they may not be in their office and available to answer their phone. On the Conroe High School webpage, you will see a College and Career Center section, as well as the Conroe Counselor site. These are excellent resources for you and your student that can help throughout the senior year. And another way is to check Canvas. All of your seniors have access to a College and Career Canvas course. When they log in, or you log in as a parent, you will be able to see it. And in Canvas, I have a variety of resources available for you and your student. Everything from scholarships to financial aid, to how to apply to college, to how to request a transcript. Everything can be found in Canvas to help you and your student. So how can you as a parent stay informed? One way is to be sure to check parent access. Through parent access, you're able to check your students' grades, attendance, and discipline. Also checking Canvas, not only the College and Career Canvas course, but each counselor has a Canvas course, as well as each class. So you as a parent, if you have a parent access account, you have access to Canvas as well, to be able to see exactly what your students are able to view through Canvas. Dr. Smith, our principal, sends out a newsletter weekly, and so this contains information specific for our campus. So this is important for you to read weekly. There is a counselor corner section for you to view that will have important information as well. You can also opt in to receive text notifications. If you go to the Conroe ISD website, under student and parent, there's information for you to be able to sign up for School Messenger. I know I, as a parent, am able to receive text messages from my kids, my personal kids' campuses, so I know what's going on. So it is an important way for you to stay connected as well. So how do students stay informed? Students will be viewing a similar presentation to this through their English classes during the first 2 weeks of school. Some of them have already started that. So they will get a lot of information about processes throughout their senior year for college and career. Also check the webpage, newsletters, and emails. Checking email is key for students during their senior year, not only for checking emails that I may send, but colleges will email students as well. They're not going to send text messages or post on Instagram, they're going to send emails. So it is important that, one, your student has an email address, and two, that they're checking it on a regular basis. Check Canvas. I have that underlined, again, because in Canvas, I have a lot of information that will help students and parents navigate this sometimes stressful senior year, and it doesn't have to be stressful when you have resources available to you. Be sure to also check Naviance. In Naviance is where we post scholarships, college visits, and how students request transcripts. It's important that they are familiar with Naviance. And then students may sign up to see their counselor at any time, not just in the College and Career Center, but their counselor assigned to them as well. So here are some upcoming dates for the senior year. All of these dates are subject to change. As we know, some things come up that cause us to have to change things at the last minute. So at the moment, we're planning for homecoming to be October 17th. Awards night will be scheduled for May 6th, prom for May 7th, and graduation is May 21st. That is a lot earlier than it has been in the past. So be sure that you make note of that earlier graduation date. For senior awards night, students can earn honor cords and graduation regalia. Students in the top 15% are able to receive a stole. There are AP cords through National Honor Society. They can receive something, and the list goes on and on. If your student is concerned or has questions about cords or graduation regalia, they are welcome to visit with their club sponsor or organization sponsor and find out specifically what needs to be done for them to receive an honor cord or a graduation cord for graduation. I'm going to cover real quick the graduation requirements for our seniors. Most of your seniors should be in the classes that they need to finish out their graduation requirements. So students need to have 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 4 credits of science, 4 credits of social studies, 2 languages other than English, a half credit of health, a full credit of PE or something similar. And there are a variety of things that can count towards that. A fine art credit, and then 5.5 elective credits. Those elective credits that students take they go towards what's called an endorsement. There are 5 different endorsement areas. So the electives taken will match up to an endorsement. There are no colleges that require a specific endorsement. However, colleges do want to see students have an endorsement upon graduation. They will select that they're graduating on the foundation plan with endorsement. Students also have to take and pass the end of course exams for English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, Biology, and U.S. History. Your student's counselor will be working with them to make sure that they have these tests taken care of and they are passed. And students needing to retake the test, if going into senior year, they will have 2 opportunities this school year before graduation. One will be December, and then other will be in May. So let's talk about college and career. To start off with, as much as I can talk to students about their future plans, parents have the most influence on what a student wants to do after high school. This is a report that was published in 2015, so I assume that the percentage has actually probably increased since this time. But you can see for students who identified as having the most influence in their life or thinking about education after high school, 41% said that parents had the most influence. So that could be both positive and negative. So be sure that you're communicating with your student, showing interest in what they're wanting to do after high school and hearing what they have to say. You know, some students have in their mind exactly what they want to do, but then they feel like they don't want to let their parents down or have their parents be disappointed in them because they're wanting to do one major where maybe parents are wanting students to do a different major. So communication will be key this senior year to make sure that it is a smooth transition for your senior from high school to graduation and beyond. So in the presentation the students are viewing, I'm talking to them about different post-high school options, and I'll go over them briefly with you. There is the military. Some students don't want to go to college, so they might want to go straight to work. There are 2-year schools, and then there are also 4-year colleges and universities that students can attend. So for the military, we have military recruiters that come to our campus to visit weekly. Obviously, since we're at home right now, our military recruiters are not coming. But once we're back in the swing of things, the recruiters will come once a week. They each have a day assigned to them. And the students are welcome to go visit with them. Talking to a military recruiter does not automatically sign you up to enlist in the military. I encourage the students to talk to the recruiter, so if that is an option that they want to pursue, they can make an educated decision about what branch is best for them. If your senior is under the age of 17, 17 and under, I must have a parental consent in order to send records. So if I receive a request from a military recruiter wanting a transcript or records for your student, I will contact you just to verify that you consent to me providing those records. If the student is 18 or older, they're considered an adult, and I'm able to provide the military with those records without parental consent. And then transcripts for the military need to be requested through Naviance. So junior colleges, these are two-year colleges. There are a lot of different options with a junior college. Students can take credits to transfer to a four-year school, so they can start at a two-year college, go to classes for a semester or two, or even up to 2 years, and then take those credits and then transfer to a four-year university. Those classes would follow them. There's also an associate's degree. This is a two-year degree where a student would take classes for 2 years, graduate, and then they can move straight into the workforce. There's also something called engineering academies that are available to students. So this is for students who maybe want to pursue engineering in college. Some junior colleges have a partnership with four-year universities. For instance, Houston Community College has a partnership with Texas A&M, where you start at Houston Community College, you take classes that prepare you to transfer directly into the engineering program at Texas A&M. So that is an option for some students who maybe want to do engineering but can't get directly into it whenever they apply. And then there are also workforce certifications. So these are less than 2 years, some are 6 months, up to 1.5 years. Students can take classes, receive a certification, and go to work right away. So this is an option for some of our students who maybe don't want to pursue further education beyond high school. Out of the two-year colleges within that category, there are two different types. There is something called a commuter college, which is a college that is close to home. Lone Star is an example of this. You drive there, you take classes, and then you drive home. So it's just a college that is within our community. Then there are two-year colleges that are called residential colleges. These are colleges that have dorms, so your student can stay on campus. They usually have athletic teams, so this is a good option for some of our student athletes to start at a junior college, play sports, and then possibly transfer on to a four-year university. This is also a good option for students who maybe don't have the academics to go straight to a four-year school, but want to have that four-year school college experience. These are like mini four-year colleges because they have dorms, they have student life. Students stay there and attend college, but they're only there for 2 years, and then they can transfer to a four-year school or receive an associate's degree and then go into the workforce. So I hear from some students that they're nervous about starting at Lone Star because they're not sure where they can go after that. So this was a report that there was an article in the newspaper about 4 or 5 years ago that listed top transfer schools from Lone Star College. So I assume these numbers have increased since then as the population attending Lone Star has increased. But students that start at Lone Star, the highest transfer school would be Sam Houston, right down the road from us in Huntsville. And then A&M and U of H and UT are the next three on the list of students who transfer from Lone Star to a four-year university. So if your student wants to go to a four-year university, but maybe they didn't have very good grades their 9th and 10th grade year and their GPA just isn't where it needs to be, students can start at Lone Star, go there for a year or two, and then transfer to a four-year college of their dreams, and then continue their education and fulfill their diploma, get their diploma from that college. So this is definitely an option for a good number of our students. So once your student has an idea of where they want to apply to college, they need to develop a list. That list may include 2-year colleges and 4-year colleges. It may include just a list of 4-year colleges. Once they have that list, the first step is to apply. Once they apply, they will send their test scores. They also need to send a transcript that will be requested through Naviance. And then if the college requires, they may need rec letters, recommendation letters, or a resume. So step 1 is choosing 3 to 6 colleges. That's a good round number of colleges to look at. Some students know exactly where they want to apply and know without a doubt that they will get accepted. Any college list over 6 colleges, it will be very time consuming for students to complete that. The college application process is almost like a part-time job because it is so time consuming. But there are over 4,000 colleges in the United States. So whether your student wants to start at a 2-year school or go straight to a 4-year college, there are a lot of options out there available, both within the Houston area, in Texas, and across the country and the world. So I talk to students all the time about finding the right fit. So what does that mean? That's something that students and parents need to look at all of these different things, looking at the programs that the college offers. Do they offer the major that you're wanting to pursue? The location. If you don't like cold weather, then students shouldn't apply to colleges that are North Texas and north of that because it snows part of the year. Distance. Some students want to move far away from school, but then you have to take into consideration, how are you going to get home? If you're outside of a driving distance, how will you be able to pay for you to get home? Will you be able to afford a flight to and from whenever you want to come home and visit? Rankings. This is for not only the university itself, but programs within the university. For some families, this is very important. Looking at the faculty of the school, the diversity of the college that you're wanting to attend. Cost is something for students and parents to talk about. How much are you as a family able to pay? This is where that communication comes into play. And your influence on your student. How much are you able to pay for your student to go to college? And then the reputation of the school. There are some colleges that don't have a good reputation. And there are some colleges that have a very high reputation. So those are just some a small list of things for students to look at when choosing the right college. So the different types of colleges that I'm going to encourage students to choose from will fall into 3 different categories. A reach college is a school that's above and beyond. So that is a college maybe that has always been a dream school. For some students that might be UT, A&M, some that might be Rice or Harvard. That's going to be different for everyone. I think it's a good idea to apply to a reach college because colleges change their requirements for what they're looking for in an incoming freshman class every year. So your student may be exactly what that college is looking for, and if they don't apply, they may be missing out on an opportunity. However, that should be very few colleges that fall into that category. The next category is a target category, and these are colleges where the likelihood of your admissions is within normal accepted range. So to see kind of what type of students are accepted into these colleges, you can look on the college's website itself. You can also look in Naviance. In Naviance, it will give a list of colleges and the average SAT and ACT scores, the average rank and GPA of students that are accepted into those schools. That will give you a good idea of whether your student matches or has a likelihood of admission within that normal accepted range. And a likely school is not necessarily a fallback school. It's a college where you're guaranteed admission, but it also needs to be a college where your student is comfortable attending. If Sam Houston, because it's close by, is not really a college that your student would enjoy being at, then that doesn't need to be one of the colleges that they apply to, because if that's the only college that they get accepted to, they have to be okay with that. So a likely school is not a fallback school, but a college that they're guaranteed admission, but they would also be happy and content with attending. So there are different types of admissions from colleges as well. There's automatic admits. These are our top 10% students. Top 10% of the graduating class can automatically be admitted to Texas public universities. Assured admits looks at a rank and SAT or ACT score combination. And then there's also holistic admissions. The University of Texas, for the current seniors, will be accepting the top 6% automatically. Everyone outside of that top 6% will fall into the holistic admission. So what is automatic academic admission or assured admission? This is where students can meet preset rank and test scores, and if they meet that criteria, they can automatically be admitted. Just because a student is admitted to the university does not guarantee that the student will be accepted for their major. For instance, UT and A&M, they have applications to their university, but they also have applications to certain programs within their school. So your student may be accepted to the university, but they may not be accepted into their major. Each college has that preset rank and test score criteria, and each college is a little bit different. So it's important for students to look at the college's website to see exactly what those college admissions requirements are. This is a list of assured admissions. This is from last year. The new criteria for this year will be released mid-August, so it should be any day now. On that list, you will be able to see the Texas public universities as well as what criteria they are looking for each quarter of the class. So taking the full quarter, class, dividing it by 4, you can figure out what quarter of the class your student falls into. And then looking at this chart, it will give a good idea of what criteria your student needs to meet to be able to be admitted to that college. So this is a way for students to help develop that list of colleges that they might want to apply to. So many Texas public universities are saying that they are test optional. So what is that? This is very important because this is new this year and it's not something that's planning to continue after this year. So this is very specific for our current seniors. What this means is that students can apply without having SAT or ACT scores. So if your student has not taken the SAT or the ACT, they can still apply to college and they can possibly still be accepted. However, on the application, there's going to be a question that they have to indicate when they apply if they want their SAT or ACT scores to be considered. If the student selects yes, their application will be held until SAT or ACT scores are received. Then the application will be reviewed. If they indicate no, students' applications will be reviewed without those scores, and a decision will be made without those scores. Once the student selects that they do not want their scores to be viewed, or they do, they cannot change their mind later on. So if a student says no, they want their application to be reviewed without test scores, and they don't get accepted, they cannot change their mind and go back and say, oh, I took the test, now I want my test scores to be considered. Colleges are not allowing that, and they're specifically saying that on their website. So admissions will be evaluated. Admissions offices will evaluate student applications holistically. So they're looking at all aspects of the student, not just the GPA, rank, and test scores. If you take the SAT or ACT, it is recommended that you send your scores because some scholarships at some of the colleges are requiring SAT or ACT scores. So it is really beneficial for students to take the SAT or the ACT, even though a college might be test optional. So holistic review, again, is looking at the whole student. So it will look at rank, it will look at test scores if they're submitted, but it will also look at the curriculum that the student has taken, which means the classes, the level of classes they've taken. They will look at the resume. So the resume becomes a bigger part of the application now. So it's important for students to list all the things that they've been involved in throughout high school. Submitting an essay, possible letters of recommendation, and then they may ask for other information from the student as well. Another way for students to Select colleges for that college list of 3 to 6 colleges is through college visits. There are colleges that come to the Conroe High School campus throughout the school year. The college reps are not just from local universities, but from across the country. This year, this is a list of colleges that came last year. Currently, right now, we have the University of Chicago, we have Full Sail University, Southern Methodist, Baylor, Wichita State. So there are a lot of colleges that come, and they want to see our students. If a student sees a college that is listed under the college visits, all they have to do is click on register now. Most of the college visits, at least for the fall, will be virtual through the College and Career Center. So this time when we're at home, the colleges will be sending me a link that I will share with students for them to log in at home to view the presentation from the college rep themselves. Once we return, students who are still at home will still get that email at home to be able to view the presentation. Once we return here on campus, for students that are on campus, they will come to the College and Career Center, and we will continue to do the virtual visits with the college reps through the College and Career Center. Another way is to go and actually visit college campuses. Students are allowed 2 visits their senior year, one in the fall and one in the spring. There is a form through the College and Career Center that has to be signed by the college at the visit. It's really the best way to get a feel for a college campus. Once you step on a college campus, you just kind of get a feeling. You know that this is where I want to be, or no, this is not where I want to be for the next 4 to 5 years. You would arrange visits through the admissions office. Sometimes they also have opportunities in the fall that are called fly-in opportunities, where they will fly students to their campus to spend the weekend with them. And these are opportunities for students to really get a feel for what a college experience is on their campus. Because of the situation we're in within our country, many colleges are offering virtual tours this fall. Students can sign up for those through the college website itself. I also have several listed in Naviance that students can attend either on their own or as a family. You can attend the virtual tours this fall. The next step is to apply. So there's different types of applications. For Texas public universities and even our 2-year colleges, they will use Apply Texas. So that is for Texas public universities. If your student is applying to a private university or an out-of-state university, it is likely that they will use the Common App. But some colleges have their own application. For instance, Baylor, they will use Apply Texas, Common App, and have a Baylor application. So it is up to the student which one they want to choose. They do not have to apply using all 3. They just need to choose which one. If a student is unsure, be sure to check the university's website, and it'll tell you specifically what applications they use. So there are also different tests that you have to submit. We talked about test optional, but again, you may need to have those scores either for the program you're going into or for scholarship opportunities. So EOC, we talked about, that's a test you have to pass to be able to graduate. The SAT and ACT, both of those have the option of writing. Some colleges are moving away from requiring the writing. Just be sure to check with the college's website itself. The ASVAB, that is a test for students to learn more about career opportunities, but also for students who are wanting to join the military. We offer the ASVAB on campus 2 times a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. Those will be posted in Naviance for students to sign up for. And then the TSI test is a test that can be used to show college readiness, either for a 2-year college, or if a student took the SAT or ACT and did not score high enough on those tests, the college may require students to take the TSI test. We will offer the TSI test on our campus in the springtime, so students can watch for those notices that are emailed to them using the email I have at Naviance for them. So registering for the SAT or ACT, there are some test dates here in the fall because there were so many cancellations in the spring. SAT and ACT are ramping up their testing opportunities. Students register for those online through either College Board or ACT.org. In Naviance, I have a sheet that lists the website as well as the test dates for students to be able to take those tests. Students who are on free and reduced lunch are also eligible for fee waivers. So they can come to the College and Career Center once we return, or they can email myself, and I am happy to help get them a fee waiver. If your student took the PSAT with us in the fall of 11th grade and used and they were on free or reduced lunch at that time, they have a fee waiver that's been applied to their College Board account already. So for the SAT test, if they took the PSAT with us last year and they were on free and reduced lunch last year, they have a fee waiver already issued to them in their College Board account. It's important for students who are wanting to use SAT or ACT scores to test by November to beat the deadlines. Some colleges have December 1st deadline, so if you test in October or early November, then that assures you that the college will get your scores in time to be able to meet that deadline. So for test scores, those will be requested by the student to be sent directly to the college. We do not house test scores on our transcripts, so students who take the SAT will need to log into their College Board account and request their scores be sent to the college. Students who take the ACT will do the same, log into ACT and request their scores be sent directly to the college. If your student needs to take the TSI test with us in the spring, that will be students will be given a copy of their scores after the test. It's the student's responsibility to provide the college with a copy of their scores. So that's why we give the student a copy of their scores. So I kind of talked about this already, but students who qualify for free and reduced lunch may also qualify for college application fee waivers as well as the SAT and ACT fee waivers. So if a student takes the SAT or ACT on a fee waiver, they are able to get college application fee waivers as well. Again, through their College Board account, they will have college application fee waivers applied there that they can use. And we also have fee waivers here in the College and Career Center that they can pick up as well. Also, Khan Academy offers a free SAT prep to students. When students take the PSAT as an 11th grader, they are able to connect their PSAT scores to Khan Academy, and through that, they're able to receive free SAT help based on their PSAT scores. So it is very personalized for them, and it'll help in areas that maybe they had some deficits in taking the PSAT as an 11th grader. That is a free resource for students. And through College Board, if students practice their SAT through Khan Academy, they can be put in for a drawing for a scholarship just for studying for the SAT. ACT also has free online practice tests through academy.act.org that students can take advantage of as well. All right, so this is probably the most important part for parents. Step 3 is applying for the money. Starting on October 1st, you will fill out an application called the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's called the FAFSA. If your student does not have a social security number, they will need to fill out the TASFA if they're planning to go to college in Texas. If you go to the FAFSA website, it will have .gov at the end. There are some tricky websites out there that'll have .com or .org. Those are not the right websites. So make sure that it is the government website .gov. If you go there, the FAFSA will be open right now. However, that is for the current college year. Your student will be filling out the application for year 2021-2022, and that application does not open until October 1st. Also in the fall, your students will likely be applying for university scholarships. Sometimes they have an application that's built into the admissions application. Sometimes they have a separate application. So students need to look into that for each of the colleges that they're applying to make sure that they are filling out the right application. There are also a couple of university scholarships for students who have financial need. The Terry Foundation Scholarship that looks at leadership, academics, and need. And the Smith-Hudson Scholarship also looks at financial need. Those applications happen in the fall, and those are available through the college's websites. If a student is interested in an honors program, that likely has a separate application that students will apply to in the fall. And then housing and financial aid are usually applications that have fall deadlines as well. It's important to look at the different application deadlines as well as university deadlines. For example, Sam Houston has an August 1st deadline when you look at their application online. However, their scholarship application deadline is November 1st. So if students are wanting to apply for scholarships through the university, they need to apply early on in their senior year so that they have access to the application for scholarships, and the deadline is earlier in the school year. So it's important to look at those dates to make sure the students aren't missing out on anything. There are also different types of scholarships available. So I get this question a lot. I want to apply to a scholarship. What do I need to do? Scholarships are available throughout the school year. They have varying start dates and deadline dates. So for instance, we currently have 14 scholarships posted in Naviance. They're open right now, but they each have different deadlines. So it's important to look at scholarships at their deadline to make sure that students are meeting those deadlines. There are also scholarships that open up throughout the year. So in September, we will have more scholarships. October, we will have more. Local scholarships, one of the categories of scholarships, these are primarily in the springtime. So local scholarships are scholarships that are available to our Conroe High School students, some just to Conroe High School, some just to Conroe ISD, some just to Montgomery County. So the applicant pool is a lot smaller, and students have a better chance of receiving local scholarships than they do other types of scholarships. For instance, national scholarships. These are open up to students across the country. So the applicant pool is a lot larger, and so the competition is a lot larger as well. While they are available, it's a little bit harder for students to receive national scholarships. University scholarships, those are scholarships that come from the university itself. So you fill out the FAFSA on October 1st or sometime around then. Your financial information from the FAFSA is sent to the colleges that you select in the application. So let's say that your student is applying to U of H, Sam Houston, and A&M. Your FAFSA information will be sent to Sam Houston, U of H, and A&M. The colleges will review your application and then look to see what university scholarships your student qualifies for. In the spring, the college will email or contact students with an award letter. In that award letter, it'll list what the student qualifies for as far as scholarships. Some scholarships, like for Sam Houston, for instance, they have a separate scholarship website that students log into using their Sam Houston login that gives them access to several different scholarships within the university. So again, students need to look at the university's website to see what scholarships are available. There are also some ROTC scholarships for students who are maybe current ROTC students or students who are wanting to do ROTC at the college level. Corporate scholarships, these are scholarships that come from large companies. So sometimes employers will have scholarships for students who are dependents of employees. So that is something for students to look into as well. Some different scholarship searches. I have these listed here. Raise.me is one. College Board Opportunity Scholarships. Use Google as a resource. You can Google scholarships for and then list the organization that you're in or an accomplishment that you've received or just for high school seniors. And then Naviance is something, like I said, where we will house scholarships that students have access to. It's important that students check Naviance often because scholarships are updated in Naviance often. So just some important reminders for financial aid. Financial aid information will be shared more in depth in a separate presentation because it is an important topic. I didn't want to just gloss over it in this presentation. So you will be receiving a separate presentation with financial aid information closer to October 1st. So that information is fresh on your mind. In Canvas, I have a financial aid section with information as well as a scholarship section that lists some of those outside search engines that students can use to search for different scholarships. And again, the FAFSA will open on October 1st. So what do you do now? You have all of this information. Where do we go from here? So your students should be the ones completing the applications. They're the ones that are applying to college. They should be the ones to complete the applications. They need to be writing their essays if it's required. Some colleges require an application, an essay, excuse me. And then also ask appropriate people for help. They need to be the ones to call and email the college. They need to be the ones to email and visit their counselors when they have questions. And then they need to be the ones to speak with their teachers and coaches when they have issues or concerns. We have a very short period of time with our seniors before they graduate, and we need to start working with these skills with them so that whenever they leave your home and our school, they are confident in their skills to be able to communicate. For parents, some tips that you can do for this upcoming year, help manage their expectations. If your student is wanting to apply to a college that costs a lot of money and you as a family have concerns about the financial contribution you're able to give, talk to your student, communicate with them about those different things. Remind them not to compare themselves to others. It is really hard for seniors, but for all students, to not compare themselves to others because GPA is so different and test scores are so different and future career goals are so different. Students can't compare themselves to others because each one of them have an individual path. And also try not to compare them to their siblings, their classmates, or their friends, saying, oh, well, I talked to so-and-so's mom and she said that they're applying to this school. Have you thought of that? That might not be what's best for your student. And also help teach them life skills. As silly as it may sound, make sure that they know how to do laundry before they graduate. Make sure they know how to manage their money and how to be a grown-up. Part of that is communicating effectively with adults that are in their lives. Another one is to learn how to put gas in their car. Those are life skills that they need if they're planning to go to college away from home the year after they graduate. So why do we expect students to advocate for themselves? They're about to be on their own, and we need them to know what to do in the safety of this environment. Once students turn 18, FERPA kicks in. So students who are 18 or after they graduate, parents are not going to be able to call the college on behalf of their student. They're going to expect the student who is 18 or older to contact the school. And so some top skills that students need to be successful in college, making sure they can manage their time, stress management, money management, well-developed self-care skills, asking for help, and then displaying honesty, integrity, and perseverance. It's something else that I have noticed that students need help with. The students need to learn how to appropriately send an email. There are many times when I receive emails and the student's email, the whole email is in the subject line of the email. They need to be able to effectively communicate. And so those are skills that we need to work with them to make sure that they can leave us, leave our school, leave your home, and be productive citizens within our community. So within the college and career student presentations, we talked about a lot of the same things that we talked about today. Post-high school options, narrowing down their college choices, how to identify colleges, using Naviance and college visits and virtual tours to help narrow down their college choices. We've talked about testing and managing stress and expectation. There are also how-to sheets in Canvas for students on how to request a transcript. Transcripts are requested through Naviance. how to request letters of recommendation, how to sign up for college visits, all about Naviance and financial aid. All of that information can be found in Canvas. So we've kind of talked about this a lot, but making sure the students are logging into Canvas and following the procedures that they are provided with. Making sure that Canvas, they log into Canvas to find those how-to sheets of how to navigate Naviance, and then make sure that they are checking their emails. For parents, some of the information I will include you on, some of the information I will include in the parent newsletter from Dr. Smith. So be sure that you're checking both to make sure that you are getting information that I'm sending out to students and parents. For transcripts, I ask that you give us 5 days to process those. There are 2 of us here in the College and Career Center, myself and Ms. Rodriguez, my assistant, and there are over 1,000 current seniors. And so sometimes during the year, it gets a little hectic down here. And so I ask that you give us 5 days to process those and make sure that your students are paying attention to deadlines, whether it be for college applications or scholarship applications, and making sure that they are giving us plenty of time to process those things. So this is a student of mine that I had several years ago, and this is just a notice to you as a parent to manage the mail. When students take the PSAT as a junior, there's a little checkbox that they can select that they would like their information shared with different colleges and organizations, and a lot of times students check yes. So this time of year is when students start getting a lot of mail in the year. This is the stack of mail that you see here. This is 1 school year's worth of mail that this young lady received from different colleges. Just because your student is receiving information from a college or a free application does not necessarily mean that your student will be able to be admitted to the school. So make sure that you're looking into each of those pieces of mail that come through and set your expectations based on what the college website itself says about admissions requirements. So what can parents do to help? Be sure to communicate with your student realistic expectations, talking to your students about their college choices, finding the right fit for your student and what they're wanting to pursue as a future major, and then the financial limitations that come along with that. Helping students with organization and keeping track of deadlines. In Naviance, I have a chart for students to use to fill in with what colleges they're applying to, and then list the deadlines for each thing, such as the application, the scholarship deadline, the housing application deadline, different things like that, a way to help stay organized. Help students to understand that applying to college is a very different process than it was if you as a parent went to college. I know when I went to college, I had a paper application. It wasn't online. The application process is very different. College expectations for admissions is also very different than it was in the past. So understanding that because the process is different, the requirements of your student to complete may be different as well. Help your students to balance their senior year. They're going to have a lot of senior year activities, but also their applications for scholarships in college. Like I said, that is very time consuming, and just help your student to balance those different things that they might encounter during their senior year. Also, I encourage you to avoid scams that guarantee you financial aid or costly programs that offer services that we offer for free. There are some college guidance services out there that will offer assistance for thousands of dollars, and that is some of the same things that I can help with and help you for free. Also, for financial aid, if you have to pay anything to receive financial aid, that is not financial aid. You should not have to pay for financial aid. That should be things that are given to students. Deadlines are going to be important. This is just kind of a chart to help students see that depending on their deadline, they may need to get things into the College and Career Center or to their teacher by an earlier time. This last one down here is probably the most important. So if your student has a January 1st deadline, whether it's for a college or a scholarship, they need to start getting information turned into their teacher if they need a letter, or the college and career center by November. Because if you think about it, we have a week off for Thanksgiving, and then we have about 2.5 weeks off in December. We're not in school on January 1st. So we need to make sure we have that information prior to Thanksgiving to give us ample time to process anything that your student needs for their deadline. And a good catchy phrase to think about: no pie until you apply. If a student is planning to go to a 4-year university, they need to do that by Thanksgiving. The deadlines for a majority of colleges is December 1st. Some have application deadlines in the spring, but most of them are December 1st. So students need to apply, no pie until you apply. And if they're not doing that, you as a parent have that option of taking things away from your student, taking away their phone, taking away the car if need be, taking away their allowance. You have control over the situation, and it's okay to do those things to encourage your student to do what they need to do. Yes, we want to mold them into being productive citizens and encourage them to do things on their own, but still under the guidance of you as a parent. And so I encourage you to help your student through the process, put things in place to help guide them. And if you as a parent have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to contact me. I am here to help, and I am happy to help. This will be a very quick senior year, but it's going to be a great year. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at any time. I look forward to working with you and your student this school year. Thank you so much.